Hi paper crafters, welcome to another Design with Jo video. I'm Joanne Rogers, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central Alberta, Canada, and I've been designing with you in mind since 1999. Today what we're going to be creating is a fun card. You've probably seen it before. It's a really easy card, but it is a fun fold card, and it looks a little bit more difficult than it actually is to put together, but there are some tips for it. And we're going to be using the Cutest Cows. Now, the Cutest Cows set is in the current mini catalog, which is in this catalog right here. And you can find it. I should have had this ready. Let me see what page it's on. It is on page 53. So here, I'm just going to bring it up for you. So here it is here. And when I first saw this, I thought, oh, is this ever cute? And I thought, no, I don't need it right away. But it didn't take me very long to realize that, yeah, I really quite like this. So there are all kinds of different things that we can do with this stamp set. There's 24 different stamps here, a mix of words, some of the images, and so we are going to play with them today. And this is kids, but it doesn't have to be kids. It could be a big kid like us. But I want to show you what are some of my favorite papers in any catalog. And often we don't show these very often. And these are the 6x6 designer series paper. And this particular one is the Brights set. So all of the Brights colors in our color family are represented in this set. And so all of our patterns for this year in the current annual catalog have these two patterns. And what you get is you get 2 sheets each of each one of these in every single color. So you do get a lot of paper with this one. And this is one side of them. And when you turn them over, this is the other side. I'm going to go for yellow, which is the Daffodil Delight. And we're going to score this. And maybe when you see it scored, you might know sort of where we're going with it. Okay, so they're going to score this in a few different places. I'm going to score it at 1 1/4. Now you want to make sure when you're scoring that you have your scoring blade. So get that darker cutting blade right out of the way so you can't see it. And then we're going to score it at 1 1/4 again, and 2 1/2. And all you have to do is just make sure that your paper is right up against this little lip at the top, and then you shouldn't go wrong on it. 6 3/4. I'm going to need to pull this out, pull your arm out. So 6 3/4, bring it all the way off here. And then the last one is, oops, I missed one, 5 1/2. 5 1/2. There we go. Okay, so we've got 4 different score lines there. We're done with our cutting tool. Okay, and so we're not going to fold up on those score lines quite yet. And now what we're going to do is we are going to pull in, and we're going to add some of our designer series paper right onto our paper, onto our cardstock. So I've used Lemon Lime Twist, and I've also used Daffodil Delight, which is the same as the yellow. And we're just going to glue that down on top. So you could go pretty much with any of the Brights colors that are in there. They're just such a bright, well, goes without saying, doesn't it? Such a bright and cheerful set of colors. So these here are just going to go right over top. Need to pull that over just a little bit. Now I use liquid glue because it gives me a little bit of time just to straighten it out. Now you're not going to be able to see the lines really well, but there are score lines here, and I'm going to place these. I'm going to glue them down in, I'm going to decide which one here. You can tell me which one you like the best look of here. I'm going to glue them down a little bit like this. Okay. And do I want to do that, or do I want to do this on the inside? Well, we're going to go with this. Let's go with this. And I do like the hearts showing. So we're going to go with our hearts and just place that down, and it's going to go in there fairly centered. So you're going to have the same amount of space beside the paper, beside the paper, on each side of the paper before you get to the edge of the card and the score line. And we're going to do the same thing here. Now here, what you want to do is you want to line up the top and the bottom if you can, because if you cut them nicely, as in straight and in the right measurements, they should line up perfectly. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the other side as well. And then we're going to start creating the rest of our card using that stamp set. So here's our, and I do like the lemon lime twist on here instead of the granny apple green. It's just a little bit less bold, I guess. And I do think that there is a slightly, when you look at this, it almost looks one way is better than the other. So most of the hearts to me look like they're pointed, the top of the heart is pointed down here. So I'm going to put it this way. And again, you want to try and match up the top there. Okay, so we've got that part done. So I'm going to put that off to the side and let's get into our stamps. So here's our cutest cows. And we are going to just take a piece of our thick basic white and we're going to use our Memento Black and we are going to stamp. So on this particular one, I'm going to stamp some of the sunflowers. I'm going to stamp those here and I don't have quite enough coverage there. So I'm just going to go, it looked to me like this was just a little bit gray as opposed to black. So sometimes if that happens, just turn your stamp over and try it a little bit different. Put your ink onto your stamp rather than the stamp onto the ink pad. Okay, I'm going to stamp that. And we probably will come back to this in just a moment, but we're also going to stamp some words. And I think our words are going to be in Lemon Lime Twist. And I think we're going to do Holy Cow, maybe. Holy Cow, or maybe we should do It's Your Special Day. It's Your Special Day. So this can be a little bit of a birthday card or it can be a congratulations card, whichever we want. So it's your special day. And we're going to do that right on top of here. Let's go for straight, hopefully. Yeah, not bad. Okay, so it's your special day. And now let's do some coloring with our Stampin' Blends. So I have our Daffodil Delight and I have a Wild Wheat as well. And then I also want to pull in my crumb cake, which is, I think, right here. This is crumb cake. This is Ivory. I have a whole bunch of my Stampin' Blends here. So this is my dark crumb cake and this is my light crumb cake. So this is going to be the center here. It's not going to be super dark. And we're just going to color that. Now, when you're coloring with your blends, you don't have to color in circles. You can color in straight lines. It doesn't really matter with the blends because you're still going to get a pretty great result. And it really doesn't matter too much if you go with your dark first or your light first. So for this one, I actually went with my light first and then my dark. So now I'm going to go in with my lighter daffodil. So this is the light Daffodil Delight. I'm going to color in all of our little petals here. And you don't have to be especially worried about this. It's just a little tiny spot that we're coloring. And we're going to go in and give a little bit of darkness just to where we see the lines that Stampin' Up! Has provided for us. So you can, with your blends, you could color these with your Stampin' Right markers. You can color them with your pencil crayons, whichever you want to color with. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of the dark as well. And it's just going to add a little bit more intensity to the sunflower. So it really does add a little bit more to the experience. And then put that on, and I'm going to go in just with a little tiny bit, just going around the edge of the wild wheat, and it's just going to as well give a little bit of more depth to the flower. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to get some green. So we are using the Lemon Lime Twist, and again we're going to go for the light. here. And we'll come in and give a little bit of the definition with the darker one. So we're not worried too much about creating a work of art here. We're just coloring. And there are lots of things that you can do with your Stampin' Blends so that they are a work of art. They really are. They become probably, they're one of my favorites. They're top up there with one of my favorites for a coloring tool. And part of the reason is because you can get a lot of variety out of your blends. Just mixing your colors, adding some dark and some light in there, it really is they really are great tools. Okay, so this is the dark crumb cake. So I'm doing crumb cake on top of crumb cake. So it's just going to create a little bit of, again, definition. And we can do the face over here. It is a cute little face, I have to admit. And I've got a little bit of our petal pink, which is going to go right here. Now, if you didn't want to do on top of color, no problem. It looks great either way. And these little guys are so sweet. And maybe bring in some pumpkin pie. And I'm just going to tap in there and let it go one into the other. I'm going to bring this in and bring it up. And then I'm going to go for my light and sort of bring those together. So I'm going in for the light. And again, it's just a little movement. You're just pulling in some of that color. You're pulling out some of the dark color and pulling in some of the other color. And I'm not going to do much more than that on his face. Although, you know what? I'm not so sure I really like that brown. So maybe let's go for this brown here. Instead of the pecan pie, let's go for the darker. And the darker is going to give a little bit more. Okay, so there's the face. Let's go in with the darker crumb cake here, and we're going to bring it up. Just going to color all of this. And again, I'm not going to worry too much about this, but I am going to put in some dark hooves. And then I want to show you one other thing that I did. And I did it on white. And I want to show you what I did. So I pulled in my colored watercolor pencils. And the watercolor pencils, I pulled in the two browns. So where are they here? I think there's one here and one there. And then I just created color so that right over top of your Stampin' Blends. So the Stampin' Blends and your watercolor pencils really can add a lot of additional texture to your stamping, to your image. So this is the Early Espresso, so it's a little bit darker color. And then there's this pecan pie, and I'm just going to create our own color. We're going to go right over top. Always when I'm using watercolor pencils, I am coloring in a circle. And it's just going to give you a much better result. So I'm going to go in there now, and I'm going to pull out some of this color using my blends. So let me find my light. So here's my light crumb cake, and I'm really sorry if I got my head in there. So here's my light crumb cake, and I'm going to go right over top, and it's going to pull out some of that color. It's just going to add a little bit of additional interest to your coloring. So this is a technique that you can all be doing right away because it's just another fun way to use some of the things that you probably already have. In fact, I'm thinking you probably do already have. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of my, this is the petal pink. Just going to pull that out for the rest. And it should just sort of melt into the crumb cake. Use color and then just give it a little bit more definition. Okay, so we're going to cut out our little guy's head. Right. And then what happens is with the rest of these little pieces in here, there is something for the eyes. You can have the top of the hair. You can put the, well, I don't even know what it's called, like a top knot kind of thing. And then a little bit of the a tail too. And then we're going to do this guy here. Cut him out. And you get all kinds of great little pieces that go sliding all over the place. You can just toss those, or you can save them for another piece. Okay, so we've got our little guy here, and we're going to put him together. Now, I did already color a few different things. So I also stamped our rooster and our chicken. I stamped our cream can as well. And I just wanted to show you, so this is what this looks like on white. So using much the same technique versus on the crumb cake. So I think we're going to go with the crumb cake today. We're going to use our little guys here. Let's clean up as we go. And I've got a cream can. And I also have a bell. So there is a bell. And then I've got a little bow. So let's sort of put these all together. Okay. And not this guy. We're not going to use that guy. Okay. So now what you want to do is we want to fold up on our score lines. So how these score lines work is that you want to fold into the middle on the two inside score lines and give yourself a really crisp fold there. And then out. Okay, so out and in. And if you have to just pull that out to give it a nice crisp edge, go ahead and do that. We're going to do the same thing over here and this way. Now, do most of you know what we're doing now? This is a bridge fold card. And I'm sure you have seen them everywhere because they are really fun to make. So we are going to, this is a trick for putting them together. Okay, so you've got your long piece. And what happens with the bridge fold card is that basically that's the size that you want, and it's going to fit in a regular sized envelope. So this sits across the top of it and it bridges the two. So that's why it's called a bridge fold card. But sometimes it's a little bit challenging to get this on there. So here's what I do. You can, it doesn't matter which side you start on, if you start on this side or this side, but you're going to give yourself glue over here. I'm going to start on this side. Okay, so you don't want your glue to go beyond this part here. So I don't put glue on here very much. I put a little bit, but I'm mostly going to put my glue on here. And I'm going to put it up a little bit, not have it be right down to the bottom. This is a preference thing for you. I like to have a little bit at the bottom so this isn't sitting right on the bottom. And now I'm going to put just a little bit here, just to give even a little bit more stability. Okay, and then you're going to place this on there, making sure that the edges are lined up. Then you're going to have to hold that for just a little bit while it sets up. Okay, so that is the trick really, is to fold it in and then apply your glue. But you don't want to fold in the other edge. You want the other edge to be flat. Okay, I usually put my glue on one piece first and get that down and then put on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put glue right here. It's going to get that out of the way. I'm going to put glue right here. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue right on this part again. All right. And you want to be a little bit gentle here. Now, this part is going to fold over, and then you're just going to lay that down. You want to try and get it as straight as possible. And if you cut everything right, this should be right on the edge of that card. So give it just a little bit of time to set up before you try and move it, because you could actually take that glue and it would not be set up. So let's finish that. And then let's take one other little piece here. And then how about if we just, what do we want to do on the back? Maybe what we'll do is we'll just put one of these little guys here and some grass. Okay, so that we have some grass here with our lemon lime twist. Okay. And I found as I was doing this other one here that I just stamped a little bit there. If you get any here, you can just come in with your chamois and clean that up. And then we're going to put, maybe let's put one of the little tiny, clean this off, one of the little tiny sunflowers. Okay, so here's our sunflower. I'm going to put him in basic black, if I can find it, not basic black, Memento black. And we'll just put him there. Uh-oh. Okay, so I could try and do this again. Let's see if I can get that in the right spot. I'm going to try and stamp right over top. And let's see if I can get that in the right spot. Not too bad, actually. That's okay. That's one nice thing about having the photopolymer stamps is that you can do that. And let's just give them a quick little color. It's a little bit darker than I would probably want it to be, but not so bad. And we're going to put a little bit of the crumb cake here. So just a little bit to finish off the back side. Now, when you're doing this one, you want to glue this on here. Now, you might want to write on your message before you glue it down, but this is where your message is going to be, is on the back of the card. And you could also put paper, so your designer series paper, if you wanted, on these parts of your card too, and you could use those as parts to write on or to decorate. Okay, so there's our bridge fold. So now what we want to do is we want to finish off our little cow here. So how about if we, let's see, can we put this guy over here? And so what we're going to do is just, I don't want it to be right over top of our thing there. I think maybe I want them, let's see, we're going to put that over here. Let's put the chicken there. Let's glue this guy down. So we're going to glue down the body, and then I'm going to put some dimensionals on for the head. So let's glue that guy down. I do sort of like the brown on the crumb cake. Try and get that as straight as possible. Now here, what we want to be careful of is that the head goes on and that it sticks, that doesn't, if we put it, how am I trying to say this? If we put it on here, we may miss the opportunity to actually catch it on the body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my dimensionals, I'm going to put it onto the body right here of the cow. You could go for a smaller one if you wanted. And we're just going to put this down, and let's put his head sort of that way. And that's one nice thing, is that you can do the head however you want. Let's put a little bit of dimensional here on, I think I have a piece cut, I do. I'm going to put a dimensional, needs even more cutting though. So that little bell is really quite small. So I'm going to cut just a little piece there, and I'm going to put it on the bell, which is right here. And we are going to, here's what I find easier to do, is just to pick it up on the back, stick it here, and try and get that off. It is very tiny. If you really don't like working with little things, this might not be the set for you, but it is a really cute little set. So we're gonna add the bell there. So what I use to color the cream can is just our smoky slate, and the green is our shaded spruce, just to give it sort of that little bit of tarnished kind of look. We'll put this on with glue. Put it over here. Yeah, let's put it over here, just for a variety. And we're going to put, where did I put this little guy? I think we're going to put our little guy over here. So you can just, you know, how about kids with this? Kids would love creating with this particular little set. So if you have grandchildren, if you have kids who would love to create a little barnyard scene, if they want to make their own little invitations for their birthday, if they want to send out little cards to their friends. This is a perfect little set. So he's going to be looking at him. And then we're going to put this guy maybe on top of the cream can. So you just play to your heart's content, which is really quite fun. And let's put him up here on the cream can. Okay, so there we go. And just one final little thing. I do have a bow here. So a bow just made out of our linen thread. And I'm just going to put that on, I think. Where do I want it here? I don't know, maybe not. Well, why don't I put it over there? I'll put it over there just to finish off the card a little bit. We don't have any other embellishments on it besides this. So I'm just going to take that mini glue dot. I'm going to roll it around in my fingers a little bit. Not too much because you could lose the stick. We don't want to lose the stick. And then we're just going to place that right over top. I think maybe we'll go this way. Okay, so just a fun little finish off to the card. Okay, so now let me show you the card. So this is how it works. Okay, so you're going to put it in the envelope like this, and you're going to write on the back, and that's how it stands up. So it stands up really, really well. So there's the one that we made just now, and then here's the other one that I made. So this one here, I did put the hearts in a different spot. And I used As Your Afternoon, and I did use Granny Apple Green here, but you can see the difference in the cow versus having a white base on the cow and having the crumb cake base. So there's a few different things here. I only put the little guy, I think I put him on the back. Yeah, I did. I put him on the back on this one. Thanks very much for joining me. Please like the video and subscribe if you'd like to. Also join my email list where you can get exclusive ideas from me every week. Thanks very much. Have a great paper crafting day.